going on, and welcome back to another Elestrals Moonrise reveal reaction video. We are back introducing Starbit and Friends, a new star is born. Now, something I want to point out, I saw the thumbnail for this video, and the thumbnail for this video showed a Starbit and a Starbit with a title, so I'm kind of interested in that. There was also a card that got revealed to me on Twitter. I don't know if it's a real card or not. I might be, it might not be. I'm not entirely certain. But from what I've heard, it's insane. Something in this video, from what I've heard, is unbelievably insane. We'll see if that's actually the case. But without further ado, let's get straight on into it.
Watercasters, get ready. The high tide is here, and we've got a tsunami of brand new Elestrals to showcase today. Let's dive.
Water is getting so many new cards, man. It's insane how much crap Water is getting in this set.
I hope you guys have been enjoying our 32 days of Moonrise reveals. We count down until November 15th when those pre-orders open. Big shouts to everybody who's been showing love to our Elestrals Clash Kickstarter campaign.
Speaking of which, earlier today, this hit 400,000. We hit another milestone. We're going to have all 8 spirits as like the mates that you can see here in the picture, in the top right and top left. Top right and bottom left. We will have all those spirits available to us. We hit 400,000. I think there's a little bit over a week left. So get your backs in. Continue to get this as high up as possible. We're aiming for 500,000. We absolutely want 500,000 because apparently the most requested game feature will be in the game at 500,000. So we'll see.
And of course, and don't forget those backers, you guys get early access to these reveals, so make sure you guys back us on Kickstarter. But let's talk about some brand new Water Elestrals, starting things off with a familiar face, Oystress. That's right, Oystress,
okay,
previously a starter deck exclusive card. Oystress comes back in Moonrise with 1 attack and 3 defense, and the same effect we all know and love. It gets +1 defense for each enchanting water spirit on the field, allowing it to buff itself up to 4 defense naturally, and when paired with cards like Poseidon, Atlantis, and otherwise, you can actually get this thing to be pretty incredibly defensive. Oystress is a very...
So, I want to mention a couple of things about this. One, this card is not good. It likely will never be good unless we get some like defensive threat or something like that. However, it's a good thing that Oystress is going to be in this set because it was a starter deck exclusive before. Therefore, now we actually can get it outside the starter deck. I think that's very, very good. Good reprint here. Another thing I want to point out actually is if you guys remember my second place win burn deck video, that was the second place was I went to an Elestrals local, ended up getting second place at that local with that deck. After the tournament, somebody opened up a blister pack that he bought from a vendor there, and he pulled a Stellar Oystress. I was like, my goodness, this is unbelievable.
Very, very
Absolutely
good defensive wall.
insane stuff.
But you might be like, hey, Drav, why is Oystress in Moonrise? Well, it's because it has an awesome ascension, of course.
Hang on, I don't know if it's coming up on the video. My headset went weird.
Oystress ascends into one of my favorite designs of all time.
Hang on, hang on real quick. I'm going to have to restart my headset because it seems to be acting up. So hang on. All right, we're good now. Let's go.
Oystress ascends into one of my favorite designs of all time, Oystillery. Oystillery is a 4 attacker with 8 defense, 2 cost water that has a super cool effect that allows you to special ascend from your Oystress if you disenchant a water spirit from your field. So if Oystillery is in your hand and Oystress is on the field, you can simply special cast out your Oystillery.
That's exactly like what's that card? What's the lunar card that got revealed that I thought was absolutely bonkers? God, what's it called? It's the Ascension of Havacub. I've forgotten its name. I've completely forgotten its name. It goes from Havacub, Frigicub, Shiver. No, okay, it's the Nexus form of Shiveror. Havaror? I don't remember. I literally do not remember. That card, though, it's basically that. The only difference is you need to have Oystress on your field in order to ascend into it.
By tossing away a spirit on your Poseidon or something else. But the real power with this card comes from its second effect. You can discard a water card in order to target and destroy a card. Simply put, you can throw away a water card in your hand, whether it's a rune, an Elestral, anything, and you can target and shut something down on the field. This powerful defensive tank is ready to blow your opponent's field to smithereens, and I look for Oystillery to make a big smash in Moonrise.
I'll be honest, I'm not too interested in this card for a couple of reasons. One, its first effect requires you to play Oystress, and we don't want to play Oystress. We just simply do not want to play Oystress. The second effect is interesting because it doesn't require you to spend any spirits, which is kind of interesting. It doesn't say expend or disenchant water to target and destroy a card. It just says discard a water card. You're getting rid of a card in your hand without spending your life in order to destroy a card. That's honestly pretty good effect. The issue is it's a 2-drop, and it can also only be happening once per turn. And this card also doesn't do anything other than that. It's a card that forces you to play Oystress. It's a card that has a very narrow effect, and this card just simply loses to Altar of Stars. It straight up loses to Altar of Stars because all I have to do is swap it to attack or any removal card at the same time. Resting, EQ, does not lose to I'm forgetting the Frost one. What's the name of the Frost one? I'm so bad. I don't know. Oh, what was it? Oh, what was it called? I straight up do not remember. Cryoblast! Oh, I remembered it. Oh, that took way too long. Does not lose the Cryoblast, but I still don't think this card's very good. Again, you have to play Oystress. It's a 2-drop. It's difficult to get out. Even if you don't want to play the Oystress, it's a difficult card to get out because you have to then normal ascend into it rather than special ascend. I don't expect this card to be seen
and shut
too much
something
play,
down.
and
I look for Oystillery to make a big smash in Moonrise. Now, when I designed Moonrise, I got really creative with some different ideas. I got to explore the titles like you saw with Lunar Phases, and I got to go into some different design space. And one of those design spaces that I was really excited to explore was this next card, and that is Starbit. Starbit is absolutely adorable, man. He's a little star superhero dude with a cool cape on, and he's rocking 1 attack and 1 defense and a 1-cost water with a really sweet effect. This Starbit gets +2 attack for each water enchanting it. So it immediately starts.
So right off the bat, it's a 3. Okay.
It's a 3 attacker when it's enchanted with water. You can Nexus up to.
It has its own Nexus effect. What?
2 Water Spirit. When this Starbit has 7 or more attack during your main phase, you must either destroy it or special ascend it to Starbit Supernova from your hand or deck. What does this mean? This means that Starbit.
So if you cast this and you Nexus 2 onto it from like a Poseidon or something, you immediately get to ascend into Supernova.
It is immediately a 3 attacker because of its effect. You can Nexus up to 2 Water Spirits, so you can Nexus from Poseidon onto Starbit to give it 3 spirits total, and that immediately allows him to hit that 7 attack threshold that you're looking to hit. But otherwise, you can utilize cards like Necklace of Harmonia or Atlantis or other mechanics to get.
That's insane. You can just go Starbit, activate Necklace, boom, done. I didn't even think about that.
Into 7, and much like Cryoling into Cryovern, you have to special ascend it into Starbit Supernova once you hit that 7 attack stat. So what is Starbit Supernova?
Yeah, let's see what this is.
An epic 1-cost water Elestral that I'm so stoked about. Starbit Supernova hits the field with 7 attack and 2 defense out of a 1-cost, our highest 1-cost attack stat we've ever done. But it has a caveat. This Starbit cannot be normal cast, which means the only way to get your Starbit Supernova to the field is by special casting it, whether it be through Starbit's effect or maybe through another card like Rise from the Ashes or Rise from the Depths. When you special cast this Starbit with another Starbit's effect, it gains the effect if this Starbit would be destroyed. First, you may Nexus all spirits from it. If you do, draw a card, then it's destroyed.
This is a very weird card to talk about. First of all, I want to mention that this card to me is exactly the same as, what's the name of it? There's a Pokemon that's exactly like Palafin. Yeah, it's exactly like Palafin. Because Palafin evolves, or is Palafin the fully evolved form and the I don't remember entirely. But that evolution line it reminds me exactly of this. So the fact that I also want to point out, this Starbit cannot be normal cast. Obviously it can be special cast. It's supposed to be special cast by the original Starbit. However, it doesn't have to be. As he mentioned, Rise from the Ashes, Rise from the Depths. Rise from the Depths is actually probably a very, very good way to get this card out. It's just a 7 attacker that can constantly be coming back if you're able to special cast it in some way. However, Starbit here is interesting. It's because this card is very interesting because it has a second effect. So when you special cast a Starbit with another Starbit's effect, so yes, it's supposed to be cast out by the original Starbit. It gains the effect if this Starbit would be destroyed. First, you may Nexus all spirits from it. If you do, draw a card, then it is destroyed. So, to explain this effect, What this means is that if this star bit would be destroyed, take all spirits, enchanting it, move them to other cards on your board, draw a card, then destroy Starbit. Something to be noted about this as well is that it destroys itself. So, for example, I might be mistaken with this. I don't quite remember how this works. If this card would be swapped to defense, for example, and you hit over it with just, let's say, like, you have an attack, your opponent plays Eddie, you don't have any counter rings or anything like that, but you have, like, a Poseidon enchanted, for example. They swap your Starbit to defense, and then, once it's in defense, they attack over it and destroy it. Before the Starbit gets destroyed, you nexus all your spirits from it onto the Poseidon, draw a card, and destroy it by its own effect. That's just one example, but if I'm not mistaken, this does not count as this card being destroyed by a battle. This is counted as it being destroyed by its own effect. It says if it would be destroyed, do this, then destroy it. That is it being destroyed by its own effect, not by battle. So it gets over any card that says if this card destroys an opponent's Elestral in battle, for example. It gets around that. You can't just do that unless you don't have anything to nexus onto, which is something to note. Is this, now I also want to point out, is this card good? And it's hard to tell, in my personal opinion. Certainly has potential. Absolutely certainly has potential in Water Nexus decks. You're already playing Aphros in there to get a big draw engine going. Why not play Starbit as just an additional Nexuser? You just, in Starbit, getting this card on board is very, very easy. It has 7 attack. It's a good offensive option in a deck that typically doesn't have that many offensive options other than Galaxy and Eddie, realistically. And to be fair, Galaxy does not work well with this card. Just simply due to the fact that it would have its stats flipped. So that's not the best thing in the world. But it's in a position where if you go Starbit... Let me double check the original Starbit real quick. The original Starbit says Special Ascend. Okay, so it says Ascend, not Special Cast. So, because of that, this Starbit, if you use it, if you get to the 7 attack with the original Starbit by using its Nexus effect, this card will have 4 spirits on it. It can attack for a boatload of damage, and if it would be destroyed, nexus all the spirits onto another card. That can be very helpful if you have a Jatagua enchanted as well, because then you can just heal and take no damage. You would draw a card as well. It seems very good. My fear is that it requires a little bit of setup, and you don't want to commit a Starbit to the board until you have that setup complete. The reason why you can commit, for example, an Aphros to the board before you have your setup is because Aphros is 4 defense. It's a pretty beefy body. Starbit would only have 3 attack and 1 defense. Granted, if you're at least able to Nexus 1 onto it, it can get up to 5 attack and just attack over something. That's not the worst thing in the world. I'm not entirely certain if this card's good. It's hard to say. I want to say it is very good. It's incredibly hard to say, I feel like. It is very difficult, I feel like, to say. This is a card that would need testing, realistically, to determine exactly how good it is, but I feel like it is good.
Cannot be normal cast.
I hope it's good.
The only way to get your Starbit Supernova to the field is by special casting it. You special cast this. If this Starbit Supernova hits the field from your Starbit's effect, meaning it's coming to the field, generally speaking, with 4 spirits on it, 1 from Starbit, 2 from the Nexus to get it to 7 attack, and 1 additional spirit once it special ascends, you have a 4-spirit Starbit Supernova hitting the field with 7 attack. This is stating that if this Starbit gets destroyed, holding all those spirits, you actually get to move those spirits to another card on your field, then draw a card, and then your Supernova is destroyed, which means you don't end up losing out on that massive spirit investment that you're putting into Starbit because they get Nexus nexus to the rest of your field so you can conserve those spirits to use for later. This is a really interesting card and a really interesting design space that I'm super excited to explore. Like I mentioned before, Starbit taking on a new form, its Supernova form, with an incredibly powerful effect when it special ascends that way. Otherwise, feel free to explore this card with cards like Rise from the Depths and Rise from the Ashes. Just
another thing I want to point out, this, as I did say this, but I want to specify this again. This can just be a vanilla. You can play Rise from the Depths, you can play Rise from the Ashes to just get it out and have it be a 7 body. You can do that. It just won't get its effect. Honestly, that's fine. It's not really like you're losing that many spirits off of just doing it from like a Rise from the Depths. You're losing 2 spirits, one from casting this Starbit and one from casting the Rise from the Depths. I feel like just having a 7 that you can constantly get out isn't like that bad, if I'm being
special cast
honest.
out to the field as a normal 7 attacker, but I think using it with Starbit is going to be your best bet. Starbit's one of my favorite Elestrals coming in Moonrise, which is why it's also getting a brand new Stellar variant, Stellar Starbit. This card artwork is so beautiful, and it's a Stellar you do not want to miss out on when Moonrise drops. This is one I gotta give you 3 copies of, and there's only going to be 99 ever made. Watercasters, I hope you're...
Is Supernova getting a Stellar, though? Like,
feeling good, because you're definitely eating good in Moonrise. Oistress, Oistillery, Starbit, and Starbit Supernova looking to make a massive splash.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing these. Again, I don't think Oistress and Oistillery are very good. I think they're honestly very bad cards, if I'm being honest. I don't expect them to do much anything. The Starbit cards I could very easily see. So something I want to point out, earlier on in the video, I did say there's something I saw on Twitter that's potentially leaked. And I felt like it was crazy good. I heard it was crazy good. It was an Earth card, though. And that's not in this video. So I think it was just a fan-made card. I'm not entirely certain. It may be a card that's not yet revealed, because obviously we saw MBT had his own creator reveal where he revealed a card before it showed up in one of these videos. It might be one of those. I'm not entirely certain. But it's interesting. Again, though, I don't think any of these cards... Well, no. Sorry. The cards on the left are not very good. Cards on the right have a lot of potential. I could very easily see them being fine. It's interesting to see these. The Starbits are very, very interesting cards. I like the design space around them. I think that's really, really cool. But guys, that's going to do it for this video. I really hope you did enjoy. If you did, make sure to slap the like button and subscribe for more. Hope to see all you guys in the next video. Goodbye.